Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. I thought we have a short visit, short surprise live stream. Today is what? Is it Wednesday? What is it? It's Wednesday, I believe. Today is, yes, Wednesday. So I think maybe one in the middle of the week and one Saturday would not be too bad. Something made me sneeze so much, I don't know what it was. Some dust or something. So Juanpa is here. Pura vida Meran, he says, and pura vida to you as well, dear. Male 25, Costa Rica. Juanpa says, also Juan Queiroz. Juanpa Queiroz. I see. Okay, good. The two brothers. Oh, that's actually. Is it the same? Is it you and your brother? Just you? Oh, it's only you. Okay. Good to see you on a Wednesday. Yes, yes. Thank you. The same. Same. And not me says, good evening, sir. 19 male, Assam, India. Hello there. But how do I know that it is you, 19 male from Assam, India, when it says not me? I mean, it's not believable. I mean, how can I, how can I believe what you're saying? It says not me, but then it says that, then I don't know who you are, really, honestly. All right. So, what's going on with you guys? I know it's a surprise live stream, but unless we have people here, then I'm no good. Just give me a second. Let me get this out of here. Maybe. All right. And not me says haha. So I don't know if you're really laughing or it's just not you laughing. I mean, honestly, I'm confused. I'm confused. So, what's going on in Assam? Beside having great tea in the world, greatest tea in the world. Well, tonight I'm having my own brew. There are no teas in it. There are blueberries and hot water. You know, I've been having lots of green tea. I really loved it. Like I've been having, I don't know, maybe 10 tea a day. And I start feeling a little bit of a buzz. And I don't like to feel caffeine in my system. So I thought maybe it's a bit too much because I believe every one of them have like maybe 65 milligram of caffeine or 45 or 55. Maybe, I don't know, maybe more. So then 10 of them is like 450, is like 3 coffees. So I haven't had tea for a few days now. I've been having, putting pomegranate and hot water on it. It's pretty good. Or just mango and hot water. It's pretty good. Yeah, it is too much. Yeah, it is. And but you know, I didn't have tea for maybe 2 years. I had all herbal tea, chamomile and so on. And then when I got tired of it and started having tea, then I was having quite a bit. At least 4, 5, 6, 7 a day. But I remember there was a time that I was having even more tea than that. Constantly having tea. That was when I was studying, I guess. So I haven't had tea for about, I don't know, 4 days now. Apparently, green tea has so much good stuff for you, but I mean, I would have it right when I was sleeping, and it wouldn't cause me anything. I would just sleep. It was like no effect as far as the caffeine, but somehow I was feeling a little bit, not in any extremities like affecting my function, but it was like, I don't know, I was feeling a little bit, maybe it wasn't tea at all. Jeffrey says, Jeff Mail 32 Toronto, hello there. And Jeffrey says, you would have gotten the ugly stick out on me today too. Oh, what did you do? I had 3 coffees. Oh, yeah, you did. Okay. Yeah, 3 coffee, I can understand. Because coffee has got lots of caffeine in one shot. At least tea, you got to have like 6 or 7 or 8 or, I don't know, 10 of them before it's like 2 or 3 coffees. But anyhow, I guess the ugly stick has yours and my name on it. I haven't had tea though for a while now, for like 3-4 days. No difference. I still feel the buzz. I think I'm just simply Buzz Light from here to eternity. Any of you have seen the Toy Story? Nami says here we mostly drink milk tea, which isn't really healthy, but tastes really good. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? If you put black tea, milk, and sugar, it's amazing. It's kind of like I don't know, chocolate mix. You know, we do think. Jeffrey says, "Yep, it exasperated my twitchy triceps." Did it? Maybe that's how I can say I've got muscles, because what is it now? 10 months I haven't gone to the gym. Terrible. Now I'm lazy. This whole pandemic, damn it, ruined everybody's lifestyle. The hell with it. May it die. So, sprach, guys. I'm playing lots of chess lately. I used to be good at chess, but now I'm kind of bringing it back. So it's quite fun. Jeffrey says it's so true. I've been laid off since March. It's terrible. And I got one of these petitions that says many people were confused when they were applying for the eligibility for the assistance or not. And now the petition thing was claiming that the government is now asking some people who were not qualified, to pay the money back, which is very difficult for many people. But the petition says we want an investigation to be made to make sure that the discrepancies or the confusion for the qualification should be investigated first before, because many people probably thought they were qualified, and so they applied for it and got the money. Now they want the money back, which still pandemic is going on. Instead of getting the money back, they should actually offer more to people, everybody. What qualification? I mean, many people qualify, great. But the ones who made a mistake and they weren't qualified, but they were confused by the qualification criteria, because apparently it was very ambiguous. So they should, I think governments everywhere in the world should take care of their people. What are you asking for money? All their life they pay taxes, and if the governments have done a good budgeting, which they encourage everybody else to do it, but they should be able to do it too. So they should have had enough money for such disasters to help people. This is their own money. We are one country. Everybody in their country is part of that country. So they all got to help each other to survive, rather than the government says, no, give me my money, you go bankrupt. That's silly. That's not good. So anyhow, I hope everybody was qualified to apply for, so at least they don't have to go through nonsense. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're there in Canada. So we have 8 people, viewers, but of course we have 3 people here, but then we have 4 likes. That means one of you guys have double liked, which is okay with me. And it means 3 of you guys, not 7 people are here. 3 of you guys, actually 6 now. One of you guys haven't liked. 6 and 4. We need 2 more likes. And Robo Med, what? Robo Med 07. Robo Med 07 says, hi Meran, hello Robo Med. Says, male 21 years old from South America. Where in South America? It's been a very long time. How are you? Thank you very much. Good of you to join us. Why have you been absent? You know that every Saturday we have a program. We have a live streaming, 1 p.m. for North America and Europe, and 9 p.m. for other places in the world, New Zealand, Australia, Asian countries, and so on. Robo says from Chile. Oh, Chile. Oh, yeah. Great fruit, great grapes, and world record in show jumping, in horseback riding, in jumping with horses. Belongs to Captain Morales 2 meter 47 centimeter, by the horse named Huaso from Chile. And this is from Chile. I write actually, so you know, university has maintained me occupied. Yeah, that's right. Mariana says liking the video is your assistant. Says what? Linking the video is your assistance or liking it? When you enter the live, you leave your like. Yeah, that's right. Oh, there are 10 people here, 6 likes. What are the other 4 doing? The cover charge is a like, so you guys better pay up. You already have enough hard time to be recognized or be found on YouTube, let alone if you don't have enough likes. So, the ones who have forgotten, please get to the like station and click on like. I know it's very far, but you know, just take a taxi, get there. And Paranay says, hey Mehran, 17 from India. I get stuck many times ruminating, searching for answers. I doubt myself so much, HOCD. That's the one thing you should not do. That is a doubting disease. OCD, HOCD, these are all kinds of OCDs are subsets of OCD. Pedophile OCD, harm OCD, religious OCD, regular handing, wash handing OCD, checking the stove OCD, all kinds of intrusive thoughts, all subsets of OCD. So the last thing you want to do is to actually ruminate and try to find answers to something that you were not responsible to conjuring it up, making it, thinking it, and it came from a separate system called the brain, and you are thinking that what has appeared in your head by some other entity, some other system, namely brain, is you. And that's what bamboozles you. That's why you go after trying to find answers, interpreting and all that. But would you be trying to find out what it means if it was said something by someone out there in the street? Someone yelling out something? Would you actually try to see what it means? You say, oh, it's crazy, and just move on. It's not pertaining me. It's not relevant to me. So why would I even data hunt it? Why would I spend time trying to find out what it means? It's exactly the same thing. The only problem is that you guys don't realize that this is not you. This is a separate system. It's the brain's manufacturing thoughts, not your thoughts that you're trying to interpret. Just like the person that uttered something from outside in the street, you don't care. You should not care about intrusive thoughts and the meaning or anything about them either. Just understand and recognize them as being intrusive thoughts, being OCD, being HOCD. When you notice them, understand them, and label them for what they are, that's OCD, that's not me. That's HOCD, that's not me. That's the brain, that's not me. Then by having noticed and labeled them for what they're calling them, for what they are, that would be end of your engagement with that. No need to find out what it meant, where did it come from, or did I do this 2 years ago? It now means that's maybe because that's a sign that I was this. None of that shit. None of them mean anything. All irrelevant. But because it's happening in your head, you have been duped to think what thought is created by the brain is you. That's the problem. That's why you need to focus on the videos that I've made that explains to you and actually proves that we are beyond brain. We are more than brain. And I've discussed that in many different videos. And I have made another one which had lots of noise and I had to try to see it cleaned and then edit it. I might be able to do it now. If not, I have to redo it. Now it is not just philosophically proven from the scholars of hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Now the science has caught up with it. And through brilliant neurosurgeons' work, such as Dr. Roger Speary and Dr. Penfield of Canada, between 1930 and 2000, mostly in the 1930 to 1960s, and then beyond, trying to resolve and find cure for epilepsy. They've done many research study and experiments on the brain, including Dr. Penfield's work, which is a brilliant neurosurgeon, while operating on the brain while the patient was awake, because the brain doesn't feel pain. The skin and the bone does, but once they got through that, which they handle it through anesthesia, the local anesthesia, and then when they're operating on the brain doesn't have pain. So that's why they could cooperate and find out what's happening in the brain. And they've proven that you're beyond the brain. There are certain things they cannot localize in the brain. They cannot localize intellect. They cannot localize math center. They cannot make you and stimulate the brain in such a way that you start doing math or talk about political views. They can make you move your hand or make your facial expressions change, or maybe utter a word, some kind of a speech abilities, stimulate that. Or they can possibly make you see a light, stimulate that center, but they cannot find an intellectual, localized intellectual point. In the old times, they were thinking that smart people, they have a certain point in their brain. That's why they're smart. There's something extra in their brain. They can localize it, and that's for the smart. Then, of course, later on, they definitely refute that, and then they got to their senses. There's no such thing. So, and then Dr. Roger Speary, who actually, I don't know what the word for the connection between the two hemispheres is, corpus callosum, something like that. And then through corpus callosotomy, if I'm pronouncing it right, I gotta look that up. They actually severed the connection between the two hemispheres, because the epilepsy would start in one part of the brain, in one hemisphere, and then it would go to the other hemisphere and become generalized epilepsy, which was very dangerous for many people. So they thought by cutting the connection between two hemispheres, they would actually be able to control it, which they actually were. But they didn't know what's going to happen, because now they're severing the connection between the two hemispheres. And they realized that even though they severed the connection between two hemispheres, pretty much nothing happened to that person. They were expecting that person to become two people, or some kind of a weird mental disorder happen in them. None of that happened. They actually functioned pretty much the same. It took Dr. Leibetz's, or was it Dr. Penfield's Nobel Prize research to find out the differences that occurs after the severing of the two hemispheres. So it was so minute that they had to do a Nobel Prize study to find that out. Which means there is something beyond the brain that is you. And then I think it was Dr. Leibet who did a study by noticing that before a thought comes to you for a decision, like simple decision like pushing a button, about half a second before that suggestion, there's a spike in the brain. Electromagnetically, they measured that. And then the suggestion would come, and then you would go and push the button. So that's why they were claiming in the old times that there's no free will, that we have no free will. Whatever brain says, that's what you are, that's what you do. But then, I think, again, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Leibet went one step further. said when the spike is up, we know a thought is coming, and the thought suggests, okay, you now push that button. Now I want you to veto it. Because if it's the brain and we don't have free will, then therefore we won't be able to veto what the brain wants to do. And lo and behold, they could veto. So they are beyond brain. They are more important than brain. They're more powerful than the brain. They have the choice. They're the judge. They're the one who actually allows what the brain conjures up to take shape or not. So you are the actual power, and that is beyond the brain, which makes you in total control. In fact, in light of any pop-up suggestions or any kind of thought showing up, which is manufactured by the brain, you're the only one who can allow it for it to become an action, turn into actuality, or just die as a thought, come up as a thought, and nothing happens to it, and not exist and die. So, with all these different scientific experiments, they proved that there is beyond material that makes the brain, and you are beyond material of the brain. So materialists, most of them, if not all of them, become dualists, that there is beyond the brain something that is not material, that the brain can actually make suggestion, and they realize that brain is a tool, is an apparatus. It's not you. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. So hence, you got to be aware of this relationship between brain, thoughts, and you, and understand that they're separate systems, and therefore you wouldn't be bamboozled by the suggestions that it makes, whether it's OCD of different kinds, HOCD, pedophile OCD, religious OCD, whatever OCD or whatever intrusive thought it is. You would know it for fact and scientifically proven that it's irrelevant to you. It's the brain doing it, not you, and therefore it doesn't describe you, it cannot modify you, it cannot change you. You are who you've always been, who you always want to be. It is your choice that the ultimate power. You. There is a you, and then the brain is added to it like any other thing that's added to us and make us to be who we are. And that you is the ultimate power, not the brain. So all suggestions, throw it in the lake. You don't have to comply to any of that shit. All right. So we now go for whose question was it that I was answering? Oh, it was Pranay. Yeah, it does feel real because brain is very powerful, and the body reacts to brain, to thoughts. That's why the power of the brain causes the body to react, and that's a very simple scientific knowledge. It's nothing sinister about it. So what you feel is a reaction to the thought, but the thought itself has got nothing to do with you or your biology. It's a doing of the brain. And you're just being duped because nobody from childhood ever taught you guys that the systems in your psyche are separate when it comes to thoughts, brain, and you. You're quite welcome, Pranay. Chinmay says, same. Oh, there's Ash here. Ash is Marin. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you too, Ash. How are you, dear? Some progress this week. Not to be crude, but lately I've felt for my libido come back in full force. Good for you. It always will. I don't know whether to be happy about it or not, because it's not normal. I need the Soviet Union to return. Bel, what the hell are you talking about? You're good. Says I'll just channel that energy into something productive. No, that is good productive. Don't worry about it. That's needed. Like working out. It's all about the mind, Once you relax in the mind and you're not cluttered with the bullshit and intrusive thoughts, and you're not data hunting and running after interpretations and questioning and doubting and all that shit, which is the, characteristics of OCD and HOCD and all the other subsets of OCD, then you're fine. But when we're all with all this nonsense, and you're trying to sift through it and see what it is, because you're so perfectionist, you love yourself, you want to be how you've always been, and you adore what your sexuality is, and then therefore you try to defend it, and you pay so much attention to every little thing that could suggest negativity and opposite of what you actually like and are, and then of course you get sucked into all finding that out, and that confuses you as far as your focus and attention. And when you're doing that, it's like one of the YouTubers who actually I accidentally watched that excerpt, and is an interesting excerpt to use. His name is Jesse. I just give him a shout out, I guess. And that he says, look, somebody asked him, I guess, that he can't get a good erection when he's got HOCD, and he said it right. He said, listen, it's like you're swimming and there's an alligator opening his mouth, is about to take a chunk out of your butt, and you're trying to frantically escape away from that danger, and you expect to have a hard-on. It won't happen naturally. So when you're dealing with all these confusions that I talked about, all these nonsense that the brain is producing, and then you expect to be interested in, the everything that you've always been interested in, the girls, and then get the good, whatever is involved in when you're with your girlfriend. So naturally it won't happen, because you're so busy trying to data hunt and make sense out of these things, because there are no sense. There is no explanation to be had. If you watch Dr. Schwartz and Dr. Philipson's, Dr. Jan Weiner, and all these, Dr. Owen, all these scientists and psychotherapists and specialists in this field, listen to what they're saying, you will be clear. But the problem is that you listen to that and you clear yourself, then the brain keeps coming in, and you don't realize that this is a malfunction of the brain that is not letting this kind of a thought, they're not stopping it from hovering around. Instead of the caudate nucleus automatically doing its job and shutting down the intrusive thoughts, so the prefrontal cortex shut off and gets its answer, and then communication severs, and based on your values, your system has dealt with it, and no more intrusive thoughts showing up. When it's malfunctioning, you don't think about that. Oh, it's possible that my brain could malfunction. Oh, I'm perfect. I'm made in the image of God, and God is perfect, because we've all learned that God is perfect. And how could a perfect something like that make something in me that could malfunction? Therefore, there is no malfunction. That suggestion of OCD or HOCD, whatever it is me. That's the problem you're falling into. So arrogant, thinking that we are perfect, because we think that we are made by some perfect being out there that has perfectly made us to be the way, but not noticing all the evolution, all the things. If you're so perfect, how come we didn't have a brain the way we do have it now 40,000 years ago? We couldn't even think or speak. So obviously the evolution takes a place, has a role in it. So we are still evolving in the evolution place, still work in progress. That's why our brains malfunction. We are not perfect. If you understand that you're not perfect, then you will not be bamboozled or have a hard time believing that there's a signaling malfunction in the brain. That's why you have all these nonsense HOCD stuff filled in your head, and you're busy with it. Once you understand the connection, that there is not much of a connection between the brain and you, they're separate systems, then you'll be fine. Then you understand, okay, there's a glitch, and I gotta, write it out until it bloody fixes itself, and it always does. It just takes time, and the more you pay attention to it, the more screwed you are. The more you diss it and ignore it and just stick to your guns and say, this is what I am, this is what I've always been, this is what I love to be, and that's how it's gonna be. So I don't give a shit what kind of a suggestion pops up by the brain. That's the brain, that's not me. I'm not the brain is not me, and I do what I need to do, and I go through it with that mentality until your behavior toward these thoughts and suggestions rewires these way of thinking, and the brain rewires the brain, and brain stops making these thoughts, diminishes them, and they stop them. And eventually, if they come back, you know what they are. It's called neuroplasticity, and through your behavior, the way you deal with these sort of thoughts, it rewires, and the brain relearns that these things are not welcomed here. There's no attention here. So it shuts them down. And if it ever shows up, you know what it is. You become better than before. You come stronger and wiser than before because you know how the psyche works and you know the jig is up and you don't fall for that shit anymore. And if it shows up, you know it's a malfunction. You won't bother. You ignore it until it fixes up again. All right. Oh, Zetkill is here. So many people showed up. Not so many, just 11. What the hell? Abdul Razak Al-Hamout says, hey Maran, hello Abdul. Says, male 22, Copenhagen. I'm studying law at university. Before starting university, I took a gap year, where I was very lazy. Second year in university now, but still find myself lazy. Like I was in my gap year. What's a gap year? Maybe that's the expression, I don't know. So how do I motivate myself like I was in high school? Look, in high school, I don't know why you were probably motivated because in high school you were thinking, oh, the more study I do, the better grade I get, the better job I get, the prettier girls I get. So that you had a motivation. Now you kind of got the pretty girls and you're not really, like, okay, that can happen no matter what. So you kind of less. But it's time for you to actually give your studies the real reason. Do you like to eat food? Yes, you do. Do you like to be able to pay rent? Yes, you do. Do you like to have a warm place in the winter? Yes, you do. Do you like to be able to have air conditioning in your home when it's summer and it's hot? Yes, you do. You like to be able to buy a house? Yes, you do. You like to be able to buy toys for your future children? Would you like to be, would you like to be able to buy good clothing, nice gifts for your future wife or girlfriend? These answers are pretty much all yes, you do. How the fuck do you think you're going to get all that if you don't fucking sit on your ass, properly focus on your studies and get that done, because that whole thing that you don't give it value is the ticket to all your comfort, class, lifestyle, food, travel, education, family, and all the comforts that comes with it. How else do you think you're going to go through this world, through this journey of life? By being lazy, you have to interpret your studies to your life. What is it going to do to your life? I'm studying, and you say you're studying law, and you say I'm lazy. But once you interpret the reason that you're studying, where is it going to get you? What is it going to give you? What comforts, what lifestyle you will have because of becoming a lawyer? And you will say, hey, lazy, no lazy. I'm not lazy for all the good things that I'm expecting. You're going to have a prettier girlfriend when you are successful in the way of having abilities to provide. You have ambitions, you have success, you have energy to accomplish things, you're capable to accomplish things, you're good at what you do. Women look at you with the smart eyes. They measure you up. Is it just the biological entity, or it's got intellect in that biological entity, and he can actually bring about a certain lifestyle for what they're going to bring to your life? If you really interpret what you're doing to what is going to mean to your life and lifestyle, then you will stop being lazy, because without really sitting your ass on that chair and loving and wanting to read and learn that subject that you're studying, that won't happen. I don't care if you want to be a plumber, you want to be a pilot, you want to be an accountant, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, whatever it is, without really getting good at it, you won't be able to create that lifestyle that you're hoping to create for your future life, yourself, your wife, your children, your loved ones. So interpret it to what it's going to mean to your life and lifestyle, and they will say, no, 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 I really like to study this thing because that's where going to be the difference drawn between my life, the way it would be, and my life, the way that it would be like going to work for, I don't know, McDonald's or someplace that it'll give you some kind of a retail shop or a restaurant or something that would give you some kind of a possibility to have some money to eat. It's a difference. So you see which one you want. You want to be lazy? Lots of restaurants going to be hiring busboys, waiters, this and that. And that's a great life if that's what you like. You make lots of money and or some money, and you'll, you know, but if there's a pandemic, then you're screwed because restaurants close. So figure it out. Figure it out, come up with the right reasons, and you'll see it's not difficult to study. It's just the fact of why am I studying? What does it mean to my life? Is what you're looking for to clear up in your mind. Then your mind will catapult you and get your ass set on that chair and get you to study, because then you want to. You want that vacation. You want that nice car. You want that nice house. And you can't get them without really accomplishing what it is you're sitting down to accomplish. So get to it, man. You can do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to it. Don't ever forget, guys and girls. Of course. And Ash says, I'll just channel that energy to some... Okay, I remember that. And it says, I haven't rode my bike or played drums for what feels like a lifetime. I lost interest in everything, unfortunately. Understand? Yeah. But you can now, the funny thing is that you should not forget these feelings that, look, if it ever did come back, doesn't matter. Because right now, the way I think is, how could that ever actually showed up? Because I can't even imagine it. And that's exactly like how you feel when HOCD says, oh, everything seems real. And then when it vanishes and you say, oh, I can't even imagine I could even be influenced by that kind of a thought. See, it's just the brain. So if you understand it and remember this feeling right now, that it is definitely possible to get rid of it, whether it's for a day or 100 days or forever or comes on back and forth, that's life. It comes back and forth. It could. That's how it is. Like anything else, the wave of the, kind of air we have, wind, rain, comes and goes. It's part of the whole thing. But knowing how to deal with it, how to manage it, that's when you're a master of life. You can't expect to be a great captain if there is no wave or rain or tsunami in the ocean. But to be able to experience and then sift through it, move through it, and succeed in that challenge, then you become a very stronger, more confident person, because you're not scared anymore. You can handle things because things can come up. Glitches and challenges could come up, but now you've learned that you can handle it. That gives you the confidence that makes you a better heterosexual than you've ever been. All these people who have HOCD, they become stronger once they learn how to deal with it. They become a stronger heterosexual, and they become a stronger man and more invincible than they've ever thought, because the knowledge will give you the power. All right. Know-how and knowledge of how to deal with challenges. That's where the power is. Not the challenge. Challenge doesn't make you weak. Challenge actually makes you to learn how to deal with it and become stronger, because then you have the knowledge of how to deal with such things or all other difficult things. And then that is what makes you that great captain that can take on any sea and take the ship to the destination safe. Now we have Stephen is here. So, hi, Miran. Hello, Stephen. Stephen, male, 40, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. Zkill says 27 male Sweden. I think my caudate nucleus is broken. I sleep 4 hours during night and 4 hours in the middle of the day. This makes me obsessively stalk my ex social media, sometimes over and over again for short intervals. I think, honestly, I guess when I see you, this ugly stick would not be used as it is originally been used. It won't be. It won't be used to break it over your head. Um, we got to figure out how else we can really get your attention. Perhaps we just I don't know, have two people grab your feet and they would beat the crap out of the bottom of your feet, and then you'll never be able to forget it because every time you walk, you say, "Ouch, this feet is hurting." Why? And then you remember. When we were practicing Aikido, every year, New Year, we had special training. One was waterfall Masugi, which we would go to coldest waterfall in the mountain, close, wherever we could in that state. And for us, it was Mount Hood, because we were in Oregon, Portland, and we would drive to Mount Hood, and the waterfall was like frozen a couple of weeks ago in the middle of the winter. And our instructor would take us there, and then it would be like a V shape. There was a mountain and the waterfall coming. It was like a V, there was a puddle where the waterfall was falling, and then you would go in. So behind you or in front of you, there was the mountain. You couldn't escape. And this side, it was the instructor and everybody else. There was no way out. So you had to meditate and keep calm and go into the cold water of the mountain, in the waterfall and mountain in the wintertime. Early morning. And then that would make your whole system, shiver and shake until you calm it down by keeping focus and not be influenced by the elements. And that would reset you and give you such powerful feeling and confidence and oneness with the nature that you've gone through this challenge that will help you to overcome any challenges that would come towards you that year, because it would seem all menial compared to what you just experienced. And the other one that we would have at the New Year, the first session of the New Year, I guess it was Bel Masugi, which was when all students sit down and there are bells specially made for that event, and a few of the people are given the bells, and of course the bell travels to everybody's hand while your eyes are closed and sitting seiza on your knees, and the bells are ringing, and there's a mantra, there is a chant that you're saying, and everybody's saying it to the rhythm of the bell, and this rhythm changes, and for 1 hour you're saying that. So at the end of the hour, first of all, you're pretty much dead because you're sitting on your knees. Secondly, you've been spending this energy on uttering those mantras and proper rhythm with the bell, and then the bell would have come to your hand eventually while your eyes are closed, and you would continue on. So this whole process would have you think of nothing but that mantra, which was a way to empty the head, which at the end of the hour, when bells would stop and you would start there was quiet like you've never experienced that quiet. It wasn't just quiet from outside, it was quiet from inside. There was nothing happening. You couldn't even create a thought if you wanted to. It was that tranquil. And that tranquility was when the brain was being reset, caudate, nucleus, everything was becoming charged up and fixed up. We didn't know what it was for, but I am damn sure that was the effect of that cold water, that the effect of that Masugi was resetting the whole psyche and making all the neurotransmitters and everything else that we need become balanced. The whole body turns into alkaline, and everything would go. Today, scientists have come up with explanation for all what was done for 1,000 years ago, which, just about 40, 50 years ago, I was one of the old people who were doing this. But knowing that we got to do this because this is part of the thing that we are signed up to learn, the Japanese martial arts of Aikido, with lots of emphasis on the energy of the universe and oneness and compatibility and becoming unified in harmony with the universe, with nature. But we didn't really know the scientific aspect. Now the science have come up with all these reasoning, which you can see many different efforts are being made to teach people in a similar fashion, and but basically the same routine. But this is an old thing. Some people now go into cold showers and learn how to reset their system, and some people have special breathing exercises, which it's been done in different ways, for thousands of years. But now science has caught up with it and has reasons why it's so good. And one of the good things, I think, for these sort of things resets your brain, because it stops the brain from actually hunting places, hunting security through occupation by creating nonsense, something that would create engagement, exchange of energy, and some kind of a debate or discussion, which in that discussion, in that occupation, the brain finds security. And for finding that, it comes up with all kind of nonsense and conjures up different thoughts, which you get fooled and bamboozled, and you go try to data hunt it, ruminate it, and discuss it, and argue with it, debate it, and all that, which is all gets to a different tangent and annoys you. Instead, these sort of meditations, breathing exercises, and so on, resets your brain, empties your brain, and then stops that whole routine, whole process of thinking, and resets it for what's there to think about. Like, it cuts that connection that you're following, trying to think that there's something there to find. There is no answer to be had, because it's all bullshit. And through these exercises, you actually recognize all of these are just illusions. When you don't think of them, it's not an issue. So the key is to learn not to pay attention to them or not to think of them, which these sort of exercises, such as the Bel Masugi, such as the cold waterfalls, and other today's styles of such exercises are there to help you. Ash says, you skipped my comment, man. No, I didn't. I didn't. Maybe when you wrote it, I did. Ash says, but yes, I appreciate it coming back, of course. But the woman I speak to can, of course, sense that I'm like a rapist on parole right now with this new energy. So I need to chill. I can deal with this. Yes, you can. You can. It's like a wild horse that you need to learn how to communicate with it. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble, and make sure you won't be. So get a control of your faculties before it causes trouble. Ash says, now I have more mental capacity for it. Yes, you understand now how all that nonsense works. More CPU space to deal with other thoughts for once. I mean, yeah, right. Very good. And we have Jeremy Ferguson. Jeremy hasn't been around for how long? Have you been away, Jeremy? What happened with you? He says, hey, Mehran, long time no see, my brother. Yes, I know. Where the heck have you been? You deserted us. Glad to see you here. Welcome back. And Stephen says, I have the whole week off from work. Been studying for my exam which I have January 2. Good for you. I'm taking all the advice you've given me on my relationship with me, just being alone and doing my thing throughout. Excellent. And now you can begin to understand why she wasn't possibly responding, because when they are focusing on accomplishing something, studies, and they understand the monster study exam is waiting for them, so out of that fear they don't even want to contact anybody even if they want to. So right now you're focused on getting prepared for this exam, so naturally, even though as much as you want, but you're finding it easier because you're giving it so much importance and recognizing how important it is for you to be prepared for the exam. For the fear of failing the exam, you're going to neglect what it is that's really very important or interesting to you. Perhaps she's been going through the same as well. So that is another way for you to understand the other side of the coin. And says, today I began thinking mainly negative on my relationship instead of me thinking of the last time I saw this girl. She was smiling. Yeah, there you go. And knowing she's still there, my brain tend to focus on negative thoughts rather than positive, and I'm trying to snap out of it. Don't worry about negative or positive. Just focus on what it is that is most important right now. Look, which one will give you a little bit more chance, with this girl or any other girl, if this doesn't work or whatever happens? Which one? Failing the exam or actually focusing on getting prepared as best as you can and eventually pass it, if not this time, next time? But which one gives you more chance when you're meeting, as far as confidence and as far as the calculations that the girls do when they want to, be in a relationship with their boyfriend? What is he doing? What has he made out of himself? What kind of possibilities does he have? So by focusing on this exam and giving it the importance that it deserves, you are actually giving yourself a better credentials when the time comes, and you will be more qualified in your own eyes and in the eyes of the girls that you're trying to, to get friends with. So give it the importance it deserves by understanding the meaning of this exam to your quality of your relationship with your girlfriend, whether this one or anybody else in the future. The more resume, the more stuff you have on your resume, the better chances, because eventually it's going to come to that, because that translates to work, and work translates to money, money translates to comfort, and comfort translates to security, and these whole relationship has a lot to do with all these things that we're talking about. So keep it up. And Abdul Razak says, so you are telling me that future generation won't have OCD? I'm jealous. Yeah, in about maybe 40,000 years old. Yeah, and Abdul Razak says, it's a year break from school. Ah, I see, okay. So you got to get back into training. That's pretty much like when you stop playing training for tennis or soccer for a season. Then when you took a time off, when you kind of come back, you got to get back into the fitness level of it. So it takes a while, but it won't happen unless you start making that energy and effort to bring yourself back to that same level. So keep on at it. Keep on studying, because that also reprograms or reconditions you for making it easy to study. The more you study, the easier it becomes, because then you will it becomes part of your habit, and that is very important. But of course, the most important is the ones that I just talked to you about, to translate it to what it does to your life. And Ash says, what Mehran is saying is that you lack discipline. Suffer the pain now to reap the rewards later. Yes, yes. Abdul Razak says, thank you, Mehran. You're quite welcome, and thank you for the heart. Ash says, not to clog the chat, but I agree. I had those feelings of normality return many times, but they were feelings. But this time it feels like it's surged back and is more consistent, which is progress. Yes, when you learn how things are, why they are there, how do they work, what the malfunction is all about, and learn all these, and after paying attention to it quite a bit, then neuroplasticity takes place, and then your focus is not on it anymore because the knowledge has made you feel secure, and you've also become noticed by through the knowledge that these are all bullshit, and that automatically works inside and settles everything down, and you get back to how everything was, and better, because this time it's more difficult to fool you, and even if you get fooled, you know that it's just a hoax, so you will endure it until again you get back to where you're supposed to be. And Ash says, thank you, Mary, you're quite welcome. Juliet Otieno says, I've lost a lot of pounds since the breakup 4 months ago. Wow, you must really look fit. That's good. Any advice, please? No, depends if you wanted to lose those weights or not. I don't know how fit you were, and if this is now making you more fit or not. So add lots of good protein and then exercise and take advantage from it, and at least have a goal that look, you're going to take advantage of this breakup and you're going to make yourself in better shape than ever before, and then you feel better, and when you feel better, you'll have guys follow you around everywhere. And says, any advice, please? Juliet says, do monkey branches really come back, Meran? Who cares? If it's a monkey branch, you actually don't want that monkey anymore. Why should you dedicate yourself to a monkey branch? You expect quality. If you're giving quality, expect quality. Don't sell yourself short. Look for someone decent. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, you're looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for a boyfriend. You just got to understand you got to have confidence and expect quality. You can't just say, well, this girl is pretty, so it's good enough for me to be in a relationship with her. Or you say, oh, this guy's got a good job, so that's good. No, it got to be a complete package. Maybe not as good looking as the girl that you saw yesterday. Maybe the guy is not as, educator, has a great job with lots of money, but it's decent enough. But there's other criteria that is being met, other standards of yours being met in that partner. Then you have an overall package that you can build on it and do something with it. But if your girlfriend or your boyfriend is only good at one thing, or looks good, or just has lots of money, or she's all dude up, okay, that's one facets of the relationship. You can't have the whole weight of a relationship hang on one tangent, on one tentacles, on one connection. You got to have all these connections made and all put together. How she behaves, he or she, doesn't matter, whatever your relationship is, how that relationship is all between two people. How both of you behave, what your mentalities are, what your compatibilities are, what the conditioning of your consciousness is, if you're bonding on consciousness or not, what your level of selfishness or unselfishness is, how you trust each other or have you built trust within each other, what kind of values you have, your value systems. And these are all some things that the ambitions and the goals and so on, the commitment, all of these have to be there, the level of commitment and all that. So you got to create that balance. So for that, you got to prepare yourself to be able to have all those things to offer, and then you expect quality, not just one of the many standards that you expect. So monkey branches can go monkey branches much as they want until they fall and, I don't know, miss the branch, kick in the butt. Jeremy says, which waterfall in Oregon was it, Mary? We went to Mount Hood. So I don't know the name of the waterfall. It's too early in the morning. I don't know, was it 5 o'clock? 4 o'clock? It was night, it was, And then when we went to a retreat in Oregon coast, and it was winter, like it was frozen solid, the shoreline. Like you would step on it. We were all barefoot with our, Aikido gis. We step on it, and a second later, it would start seeing the moisture, and you get wet. But before it was like kind of, solid, icy. So that's how cold it is. And then after, a couple of hours of training, then you would sit down and meditate in that cold weather, and everything is wet and winter. These were some of the trainings that we were doing. And all of that, we didn't know how beneficial it was. We thought it's just physical training. But it was doing a lot more than we ever knew. Now science has proven what else it was doing. Jeremy says, what a beautiful experience with those practices, Mira. Yes, it sure was. And he says, I challenge myself with cold showers sometimes, and I remind myself to practice mind over matter, letting go of the mind and staying present. Yeah, good. I remember because of all those practices, when I went back to Iran and I was in the army, because everybody had to go, and then we were sent for some training, and then after training we were taking shower, and there was this guy who was I think deadlift, not deadlift, it was actually weightlifter, and he was champion in the country, weightlifter, and he was big muscles and all that. And so when everybody's taking shower, he was taking shower. I was taking my shower because it was only cold water. They weren't providing hot water for that particular arena or whatever it was. And so everybody was, having a hard time. And the only two people, which even I was more comfortable in the cold water because I knew how to deal with it through that meditation and keeping one point and all that. And then also he was a big guy and a strong guy, and he seemed to be okay with the cold water, apparently, however it was that he could. And that was the only, maybe he was thick-skinned, and I know how to deal with it. And you've all seen the little excerpts that I have to show the power of mind. So one day, him and I were the guard on duty in the unit, and we were bored because everybody had gone home, and we were taking care of the weaponries, and we were the guard on that day, officer on duty. So we were chatting about powers, and he was talking about his weightlifting, and I was talking about there's a power beyond that, and I explained to him all about ki, and he was curious. He said, can you show me some way that I can hit more lift? I said, well, this is how it works. He says, how does it work? So here, you can try. Look, I'm only what? At the time, I think I wasn't more than 160 pounds. And I think he was, I don't know, he was a big guy. He was probably 250 pounds, fit. We were all in the army. We had to be fit. So I said, okay, here it is. I did the same exercise I did in that excerpt that I have. And he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. He said, I press, or what is it, 300 kilo or whatever it was, the number. How can I not lift you up when a second ago I could? Then we were talking about the mind power and so on and so forth. And that's what we are up against. The powerful mind, when it goes rogue, it can unleash its power to make you believe every shit that he wants to believe. So you gotta through knowledge, you got to be able to be prepared not to fall for all these kind of illusions. So anyhow, it was all interesting story. And Zedkil says, thank you, Meranjan, you're quite welcome. Ash says, I didn't realize you had someone in here deleting comments. No, I don't. Meran, I'll make sure to tone my language down in future. No, I haven't. I don't delete anything. Because if there is something inappropriate, it comes in as a choice, says held for viewing. I haven't had anything for viewing. I only have a few from Robo Med, who has voluntarily retweeted his messages, but no work of mine. What message did you put that was deleted? There is nothing here that shows you put anything that was deleted, because it would still show the person's name and then says deleted. No, first of all, you haven't said anything wrong, and I don't find anything here that I was given a choice to delete or not. When we have trolls and they are being obnoxious, it still gives me an opportunity to veto them. It wouldn't show you guys, it just shows me. Or I can just give them a timeout. But no, there has been no such action. Ash. Was it Ash who said that? Yeah, it was Ash. No, Ash. Sie sind nicht richtig. I think I did say it right. Means you're not right. Jeremy says, I have been gone. I have been practicing a form of self-healing using open awareness as a way of letting go of the ego in the present moment. I see. And I've been in group coaching, working on my coaching business. Good, good, good. And Ash says the best choice is to not, oh, you're talking to Didi, okay. And Didi says, hello, sir, I'm 26 from Minnesota, male. I like a girl from Canada, but she is not ready to settle down. My uncle in London told me to marry his daughter. She's very beautiful. It's hard to talk to her. She's very beautiful and hard to talk to her. So I guess one of them is good, one of them is not good. Characteristic, yeah? Because she is shy, what do you think is the best choice for me in the situations? Well, the Canadian girl is not ready, so why are you wasting your time on it? And the other one, until you get to know her and to see if you guys can, you know, be compatible or get to know each other, you know, for a while to understand each other's mentality, bond on consciousness level, see each other's behavior, how you negotiate life, how you deal with life. And right now, such a situation doesn't exist, such an opportunity. And then out of boredom and, you know, not losing that chance, you may agree to marry her. But then again, who knows what's going to turn out? If she's shy, so what? That's not a bad thing. She's shy. So she will learn not to be shy with you. And if she wasn't shy, she was too outgoing, you would say, but she's so extrovert. Oh, that's also not good. There should be a happy medium. It is easier to bring the shy person to a happy medium than the extraordinary extrovert to simmer it down a little bit, I think. But in any case, you got to have enough time, either one you want to choose, you got to have enough time to get to know them, not just because they look pretty, just because you guys can, appreciate each other's behavior and the way you treat each other and negotiate life. And that takes time. So. Ash says the best choice is to not marry your cousin, Didi. Let me marry her instead. And Reborn says, I will ask something stupid, but I need to. I've been fighting with a thought of an object for all this year, and I don't know if I desire it now. It's an object I perceive now as feminine. Okay, it's just all thought. Don't just stop data hunting these. Stop interpreting these. Just stop. Don't go after trying to make any sense. Just understand, you're a guy, you love to be a guy, you're heterosexual, you love girls. Now there's something hitting your head, playing with your head about all these thoughts. These are all thoughts. Pay no attention to them. Don't fall for them to negotiate with them and data hunt them and debate with them and discuss with them. Just don't. Doesn't matter the topic. Don't say, oh, I know this, I can find the answer. No, there's no answer to be had. It's all bullshit. Just let it go. Focus on what it is that you should be focusing, not focusing to prove and fight with something that it is not desirable to you. So I decided to ignore this thought, but I have a question. If I ignore the thought, the possible desire associated with it will disappear. Look, you tell me. If you're in Louvre Museum in Paris, there are so many different paintings on the walls. And Mona Lisa is a very famous painting. If you're looking at Mona Lisa, you can see Mona Lisa. If you ignore Mona Lisa, look at something else. Does Mona Lisa disappear or not? As far as you're concerned, it's not even there anymore. Because your focus is on something that interests you. Your focus is on something else. Remember at one time I said, life is an illusion. Reality is the illusion you focus on. So on this premise, any thought that you focus on, although it's illusion, you're keeping it an illusion hovering. But as soon as you let it go and continue to let it go and focus on something else, this that looked so real would disappear. Why? Because it never had any actuality to it. It never was real. Even objects, real things can be an illusion if you're not paying attention to them. They will disappear, decimate, out of your sight, out of your mind. You're focused on other things, let alone thought, which is to begin with is an illusion, doesn't exist in actuality, is an idea, is an image. So the more you focus on it, the more it seems like real, but it's never real. But you're giving it reality by focusing on it. So take your focus away long enough, rewires your brain. And then you won't be easily bothered with all these bullshits. And if they actually do show up, you know what they are, and then you will be. I know you didn't get that because you're busybody. Shut up. You know who that was? Siri from. I thought I shut you down. What are you up to? Yeah. Even you shut him down, it still talks. Shut it down. Okay, so, and then you will be good at knowing how to deal with it, so you wouldn't worry. Even if it shows up, you know how to deal with it because the jig is up. And that's what you want to know. You want to have information about how the psyche works. Once you have that, then many things will be managed easier, especially the malfunctions and the rogue behavior of the brain. Stephen says, I think women do get more attached emotionally to men after sex because of the amount of oxytocin release. Depends on the woman. Some women, they don't care. Some women are switched off. Some women are actually really into it. And in most cases, like yours and so on, these are normal women. So yeah, they will. Of course they will. If we boys get attached to a woman that we are with, and we are supposedly not as we are more of a, I don't know, we are different creatures than the woman. But if we actually feel that way toward our woman, the woman, of course, of the good caliber and normal upbringing would be attached as well because they've been intimate. It says, when I look back, I have been needy and chased her. Haven't realized it until now, but I know she's still there, and if she wasn't, she would want anything to do with me. Yes, that's right. And you think, the more you say this and the more you think about it, the more you will be sure, because you seem to be wanting to remind yourself that this is okay. And that's OCD. There's nothing wrong with you or your relationship as far as I can see. But your OCD is causing you to constantly want to check it out, check the level, check the assurance, check the existence of it, check the longevity of it. Don't do that. Focus on what your duties, responsibilities, goals are on your exam. Leave that alone. Take a break from it. It's okay. Nothing happens. If she moves away, you don't need to have a lasso over your girl just to make sure you have a connection. She won't run away. No. If she runs away, good ridden. Whoever it is, I don't care. I'm not talking about this particular one. That means that she wasn't worth it to spend your energy. Focus on your life, and she's focusing on her life, and she's there and you're there. And then when you guys have, at the point that where you can have some time with each other, you will see that the connection is still there. Otherwise, constantly trying to focus on this, but keep looking. You will be distracted from both. It's nonsense. Don't do that. And you're doing that. Don't do that. Juliet says, Mehran, I really love this guy. We've been together 5 years, but we had our own share of problems. Last year, he punched me and strangled me. I had to undergo RCT procedure. Why do I still feel like him? Because you're an idiot, and I'm going to get a chartered plane with a bunch of girls and boys in our group. We're going to each have one ugly stick, and you better have your motorcycle helmet on, because we're going to grab you and throw you in the lake. Because no one should continue with someone who has punched you. Punch a woman? You shouldn't punch anyone for any, no reason, let alone punching a woman. And then strangling you to that point, to any point, let alone the point that you were. No. This is why you will never be in equal level with this guy, especially because every shit that he has done, you've come back to him. He now feels empowered. He feels he's got something which he doesn't. What he's benefiting from is your weakness and lack of confidence and value in yourself by you. You do not see the value in yourself, therefore you're offering yourself for some jackass who allows himself to behave the way he has done, and you still say you love him. Why? Why do you love such a person? Where's your standards? Why? What's the reason for that? What is missing in you? Why? Even the slaves were not behaved like that in 2,000 years ago in Egypt. Yeah, because they had value for that. And that was the worst time of civilization. We're not like that anymore. Everybody is equal. What, you want to be a slave to this idiot? I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't care what the reason is. A man should never raise hand on a woman or children. Ever. I don't care the reason. Unless it's a danger that, I don't know, you got a knife or a gun at your hand, you're attacking the guy, then he has to defend himself and then run and go away. Still, that's a different story. But in normal situations, no one. So I don't agree with what you're feeling about this guy. It just tells me you don't have much value for yourself. Until you fix that, you cannot find a good guy, whether this guy or any other asshole. So over 5 years living together, he's strangled me at least 8 times. Jesus. When he's angry at me. Really? This guy is sick. But I forgave him. Why? You lack value. That's why you forgive him. No normal person would ever forgive such assholes. What's wrong with you? So you could make the decision, nature has made the decision, and finally you're separated from this guy, which is the reason for you to celebrate. And says, I forgave him. He monkey branched 4 months ago since my depression had gotten the best of me. There we go. You don't value yourself, you'll get depressed because you didn't stand up for you. By the way, I'm watching from Kenya, Africa. Hello, Juliet, from Kenya, Africa. No, I do not agree with your decisions. I highly recommend that you talk to your doctor, psychotherapists, stay away from this guy and build something about yourself. Maybe, I don't know what your education level is. I don't know what your expertise is. I don't know what your job is. But whatever it is, focus on it, excel, bring about ability to provide for yourself, independent, bring power to yourself by engaging in things you like to do. Exercise, fitness, positive people, martial arts, things that gives you power, things that gives you stability, value, confidence, and stay away from this kind of shit. That's what I have to say about that. If you don't love yourself first, nobody will. First, learn how to love yourself. Take care of yourself. Respect yourself. Value yourself. Then see who is going to bring about equal amounts of that value, properness. Then you will decide. Not just like that. Just because, what, you want to have a boyfriend? What the hell is that? Reborn says, no, I have been deleting my comments because I wrote them bad. Okay, yeah. Ash says, I don't know, then it's no big deal. I wrote a comment saying I felt like Hitler with a heart on. Okay. I don't know, maybe it just got deleted. Sometimes comments don't show up. And even sometimes when I get a comment on my videos, it comes to my email, then I read it, then I want to respond to it. I go to the video, I click the button and reply, go to the video. I can't find it there, it's not there. And some people think that I actually delete it. No, I don't delete it unless they're really stupid. But I don't delete it. Ash says, and now it's disappeared. Maybe it's YouTube acting. But you see, right now it's here. So it didn't disappear. I don't know, maybe the system already recognizes certain words and deletes them. But you can use other words because that really doesn't describe what you want to say. You know, maybe you can say, you know, I feel like a gorilla with a hard on. That okay? That describes what you're saying. And so I don't know, maybe. And Dozer says, Salam alaikum. Shoma khubi. Who's this? Remember, we have a protocol here. Age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. So I will at least know a little bit about you and your age and your cultural background by knowing where you're tuning in from. Ash says, at this hour, I'm the only ghost in here. It's 6 a.m. and I haven't slept. Oh, Ash, you're in UK, are you? It is 6 a.m. What the hell are you doing up so late? Ash says, you'll get past HOCD reborn. Listen to what Mehran has to say and watch some of his videos. Trust yourself. Good for you, Ash. Proud of you. All right. We have Chester from Hawaii. Chester says, male, 27, Hawaii. Aloha, Mehran. Aloha, Chester. Says, I'm shocked that you are doing a live stream today. Since you usually do live stream on Saturdays, glad I could make it today. Oh, delighted that you're here. Yeah, well, you know what? Listen, things are quiet. And either I had a choice to go for a walk, which is raining, and or, you know, be at home, play chess, or watch a movie, or do this, or do some work. I've already did my trimming for tomorrow. And there are a bunch of trimmings that I just received back from a sound engineer, which I recorded a bunch of short videos that I need to edit and make them one. But they were so noisy that I had to send it out. And it went to a young man in, I believe, I'm not sure, I believe Serbia or Romania, I'm not sure, one of the two. And he's a sound engineer. I used the Fever, is it Fever? The freelance people who are expert in something. So it took a week for him to, you know, spend time to fix it up. And in most part, they're all good. Excellent job. He did an excellent job. So I'm going to see how much of it I can use, if I have to redo some part of it or just not, and upload it. So I done all that, and then I said, well, you know, it's time. Maybe we'll have Wednesday evenings and Saturday. I don't know. Depends how it goes, because sometimes people would not mind to have some extra chat in the middle of the week. Reborn says, I made the disclaimer that the question was stupid. But obviously, thanks, Miran. You're welcome. What question was it? I didn't even see it. And so, Stephen says, it is, I'm constantly looking for reassurance, even by asking you this. Yes, I know. I didn't want to rub it to your nose, but yes, I could even see that. But I was sure that you know it already. That's what you're doing. Just dropped it. You know how it is when you're holding something in your hand and you're trying not to let it fall? That's what you're doing. You're trying not to let it fall. I'm just gonna say, drop it. Just let it fall. Like, don't go for assurance. Just when you think of you need assurance, say, fuck it, I don't care. This way or that way. I don't care. I just don't even want to think about which one it is. Am I assured or not? Just don't, because it's not that critical. It's not life and death. It's a girlfriend. It's a relationship. If it doesn't work, something else will. It doesn't matter. Just be okay with it and live your life. Mind you, she hasn't gone anywhere. She's doing her own thing and you're doing your own thing. Stop looking for assurance. It's horrible. And you can only fix that. Only if you want to. No amount. Listen, can I ask you this? How many assurances do you think it would be enough? If you give me a number, we'll work on that, meeting that number. But you can't. Because one assurance, and if you need the second one, that means you will need always the next one. Which means if it's 1,000,000 assurances, you still need another one. Which means it's not the way to get assured. Meaning, the assurance concept itself is bullshit. What assurance? If she comes, and how many girls have come and told their boyfriends, or how many boyfriends come and told their girlfriends that I love you forever and let's get, and then they simply separated the next day or a few days later. And they promise to each other. So what assurance are you looking for? Even if she gives you an assurance, can you count on it? No. So live and learn to live with uncertainty, because most everything is uncertain in this world. The moment I go out of my home and go to the other side of the street to get something to eat or to buy something, I could die. I could be hit by the car or something fall on my head, or I don't know, a meteor or some asshole, or, who knows? So everything is uncertain, but we are okay with it. Every time we go in a car or a bus, it's uncertainty, but we're okay with it. But suddenly when it comes to these sort of relationships, I have to be assured of it. How are you going to be assured of that? What in this world have you been assured of? Your job? Parents not dying? You not getting sick? Pretty much there's nothing that cannot cause, challenge or disturbance, unfocusedness, confusion. So no matter what kind of assurance she gives you, you'll still need another one. So on that base, drop it. Just drop the whole thing. Let it just fall and break. Then you don't have to protect it from breaking. Let it break. Say, I don't want assurance. Fuck it. I don't need it. That's what you should deal with it, because it's not that important. You're not going to betray her or your idea of her in your mind. Just don't be assured. Say, in fact, I don't want to be assured. And start looking at other girls when you walk in the street and adore them. You don't have to follow it with any connection, but you can adore them. You can see there's more fish on the sea. See, there's more fish on the sea. That's very poetic. All right, I think you got the gist of it. And Edward Nalbandian. Oh, that sounds a Persian name, and at the same time was a great tennis player. I think it was Nalbandian. I think he went to US Open, no? Says, thank you for this video. My OCD is convincing me that I am going crazy. Well, if you pay attention to it, you might. But if you don't pay attention to it, can't do shit to you. Or I will get a really bad illness. Nah. My OCD keeps getting worse. Don't pay attention to it, it will disappear. And branching off into different things. How should I think? Watch my playlist. Watch my playlist, OCD. And watch my playlist, intrusive, transient, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts. Video number one. There are a bunch of videos in there, but a bunch of them are numbered. Video number 1, video number 11, video number 7, and video number 8. If you don't watch any of them at all, watch these. And they're mostly about HOCD, but they're applicable to pretty much all other subsets of OCD because the malfunction of the brain is the same in all of them. And then there is another playlist called Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. And again, heads up, it's not really all of them short, but in this one, we are not talking about specifically interpretation of any thoughts of sort. We're talking about the relationship between brain, thought, and you. And to understand that the separation between brain's activity, making thoughts on its own, irrelevant to you, and thoughts, and you. And when you have this understanding of the separation, then you'll understand that OCD and all these things actually have no meaning. But because it's a long discussion, but I think it's the first time you're here, Edward, huh? Why don't you give me your protocol? I'll discuss it for you. Gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Where you're watching these videos, where you're located right now, how old you are, and if you're a man or woman. I have a video that explains everything. You don't necessarily have to, because if I go into it, there'll be another 25 minutes discussion to make you understand. So either go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and make an appointment on a Skype, and we can discuss it one-on-one on Skype and explore it together. Or watch the videos that I have on those two playlists, and you will find your answers, at least lots of information. And definitely watch the links of the scientists and psychotherapists and psychologists that I have put on the description of those videos. Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, many other scientists who have done amazing jobs in helping us to learn and understand what this whole process of brain lock and malfunction in the signaling system is, and how this OCD and subsets of OCD function. And these are important for you to know, rather than being bamboozled and to think that you are actually responsible for all of this nonsense. So let's see, you also have other comments here. You said, and that's right. Chester says to one of her callers, what was her name? Juliet. Chester says to Juliet that the guy punching and strangling you seems like a case that should be notified to police, yes? And Chester says a guy harming any woman isn't the real man. That's true. And so Edward says, Stephen says, I'm going to take a jog at the beach tomorrow before sunrise. It's a 30-minute drive from my place, but think it will be a good way to begin my day and good for my mind. Yes. But don't be thinking about it, while you're jogging. Think about the sand. Think about the steps you're doing. Think about the places you're going. Look at the scenery. Get your mind out. Not wherever you go, you keep doing the same thing. Physically, you're doing things, but mentally, you stay in the same, stuff. It's not going to help. So make sure your mind will be with your body. If you're running and jogging at the beach, your mind should be there at the beach, not somewhere else thinking, oh, assurance, what is she doing? All that nonsense. Don't waste your time. Because then you're rewiring yourself, conditioning yourself to keep thinking about it. The more you think of it, the more you will be conditioning and turning into a habit of thinking about it, and that becomes more difficult. That's why it's now more difficult, because you're turning into a habit. So cut it, let it fall. Don't follow it. Don't follow that idea. Edward says, I agree. Never hit a woman in the worst type of. Okay, anyone can. Okay, all right. And then Edward says, no, there is no. Okay, what is it? Reborn says, no person like him doesn't deserve more option. Yeah. Patrick O'Neill says, do you think HOCD teaches us an important lesson? Yeah, it teaches you to learn about your psyche, and therefore you don't get bamboozled with all this kind of nonsense, because it's not just one thing that the brain can do and as a form of malfunction, being HOCD. There's all kind of shit. If you can't understand the separation of brain, you, and thoughts, and you be bamboozled by the production of the brain, which are thoughts, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, all irrelevant to you. If you don't understand that you have the power of choice, you are the ultimate judge of this entity, including the brain's production, that you are the only one that can allow any of the conjured up stuff by the brain to be turned into action or reality or not. In fact, you're the ultimate power in this entity. If you don't understand that, then you will be run by this idiot brain. But if you understand that you're the boss, brain works for you, and you diss and ignore what's irrelevant to you, and most everything that it does is irrelevant unless you're using it to do something that you think it's usable for your life to advance your goals. If you don't understand these, then you'll be troubled. If you understand it, then you're safe. You'll be okay, because then you become a better, stronger person. That's what you learn. To learn about your psyche, learn about this knowledge that has been shared with all these scientists and psychologists and psychotherapists, and me, who is not a doctor, who is not a psychologist, who is not a psychotherapist, but I've done the research that is necessary for me to learn a thing or two. And I've shared it on the videos for you guys to also reference it and become stronger through knowledge. Knowledge is power. Spiritual. All right. Dozer says, my name is Brandon. I'm 28. I'm Iranian American. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, dear. So I was right. Nalbandian is a Persian name. Brandon, 28, from the USA. And Ash says, great wisdom, you need to create an abundance mentality for yourself. Stephen, okay, you're talking to Stephen. Ash says, yes, look and talk to other girls. Yeah, okay. All right. Steven says, you're right. Okay, I'll drop the assurance when I feel I need it. You don't need it. Assurance needs it. You don't need assurance. Assurance needs you to need assurance. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. But you will exist. You don't need assurance. You're living it. You're the one who talks with the girl. You're the one who knows that there is a relationship. You're the one who can have other girls if this didn't work. You don't need assurance. Assurance needs you to think that it's, oh, I'm alive. It's just an idea. It's a word. Don't pay attention to it. All right. Just as with all these different OCD themes, such as sexual orientation OCD, harm OCD, how do you stop the reassurance cycle and stop looking for answer when we have a huge spike of questioning ourselves? You have to make it your habit that your policy in handling such things is by not paying attention to interpret or find answers or look for answers and see if it's got any meaning to it. All of that should go to the garbage. That should be your general policy about OCD and subsets of OCD. Because the more you give it energy, the more you try to data hunt it, the more you try to debate it, the more you try to find meaning or analyze it, the more it sucks you in for something that doesn't exist. And finding something that doesn't exist will never end because it doesn't exist. So you never can find it, but you will always look for it because you think it can be found. When you understand there is something, there is no answer to be had, that there's nothing to be found, it's an illusion, it's a hoax, it's a malfunction of the brain, it's a disorder, then you will say, okay, then now I have to rewire myself by ignoring it. That's the ticket. That's the cure for it. To become automatic, capable of ignoring it whenever such feelings, thoughts, assurances, explanations, whatever else that shows up that you think you, that would do it. Because then by keep doing this behavior of ignoring it, recognizing it for what it is, calling it for what it is, it's OCD, it's not me. It's HOCD, it's not me. It's the brain, it's not me. I'm not the brain, brain is not me. It's the brain, it's not me. Calling it for what it is, and then ignoring it because you recognized it as intrusive thoughts, you called it for what it is, you dropped it and ignored it, and you focus on what it is that you should be focused. If you keep doing this, this will be the new rewiring. And after a while, it becomes your habit. And soon enough, it's automatic, just like caudate nucleus back on track. And you will learn automatically how to deal with it. And automatically, the rhythm is there. You just don't go near it. It's like you see a shit in the street, and it's steamy, it's fresh, and it smells, it stinks. So what do? Naturally, you move away from it. The moment you move away, the moment you notice it, you notice what it is, and you move away. That's it. You don't try to say, oh, what kind of dog was it? What did it have? It looks like it might have some chicken and possibly fish. You don't do any of that. You don't go poke it. You don't say, let me see this smell. You don't. You just automatically move away. Like your radar, your navigation system automatically goes away from it. And that's what you should be doing. So these thoughts would not get a chance to think that they're real, that you're paying attention to them. And then it will be rewired. It becomes automatic. And then it's all easy going. Edward, 23, male, Australia. Edward, are you pulling my leg? You just told me you are in the States, no? Edward? Oh, no, that wasn't Edward. Sorry, Edward. it's Dozer, not Edward. I'm mixed up here. Because Nalbandian is also Farsi. And then Dozer says, my name is Brandon. I'm 28. I'm Iranian American. Nice to meet you. So I mixed them up. I said Brandon and Nalbandian. Okay. You guys are brothers now. All right. You're back on track. And Steven says, got it. Thanks, Maron. I need a beating with the ugly stick. Yeah, your ugly stick is gonna actually. It's busy. Ugly stick is very busy. You're very lucky. It's so popular. It brings so much clarity to people. it's it descends on their heads. Okay. Okay. Edward is 23, male, Australia. Okay. Thank you, Edward. Maisha says, hi, sir. How are you? Thank you very much, dear. And where's the protocol? Maisha, who is Maisha? It says, I can't keep my concentration when I need to focus for a long time. What to do? I get stressed. Well, you gotta teach your brain to learn how to concentrate. It's like anything else. When you play tennis, you come to your coach, says, look, I can't play good tennis. He says, well, I can't do these strikes well. He says, well, listen, you want to do a good forehand, you got to do 1,000 forehand, let's say. And properly, with proper style, proper positioning, proper distance from the ball, proper distance from your elbow to your side, how you approach, what foot forward, and how your energy is, how your balance is. You do it right and understand these principles, and then do that principle in every shot for I don't know how many times. It'll become automatic. You won't think about it anymore. It's just boom, you become a good tennis player. And little by little, you develop on it. Same thing with meditation. You will learn how to increase the power of focusing and concentrating. Right now, the brain is, you expect the brain to know, to do everything that it needs to be done properly. Where from? Brain is as stupid as it comes. Brain only learns once you do something. Then from that, it learns. From an action, it learns. And these days, it learns from all kind of information that seeps through internet, television, all kind of topics, and all kind of data, and billboards and books and publications and videos and whatever else. So all that enters into here, and then without having had any action, it just thinks about them. But still, if you want to learn something and you can't concentrate, then you got to train your head by meditation, train your brain to learn to be positioning itself, sitting around waiting for orders, and learning how to be quiet and focused. And then when you call upon it, it will run and it will do what your bidding is. It's like a horse that you're riding. If you train it, communicate with it, you'll be able to have it, ask it, communicate with it to run, to jump over fences, to maneuver, to take you to the destination that you want to go. But if you don't do that, the horse is still strong, capable, but it has no directive, it has no communication, so it does whatever it does, based on nothing, because it can't think. It just does things instinctively, it wants. It may take you to places that you never ever dreamed of even setting foot there, because you weren't able to direct, teach, show how things are done. So same thing here. You need to learn. We have meditation on this channel. Just go on my search engine, put in meditation or meditate or how to meditate, or just the word meditate, meditating or meditation, one of the three or all three. You will see a bunch of them. And there are some that is guided meditation. You'll be doing the meditation with a bunch of us that I did it in a live stream, and you will follow the explanation and so on and so forth. And you keep doing this every day. Start from 5 minutes or 2 minutes and then 5 minutes. Then you'll see, hey, it's pretty good. I want to stay longer. And you keep doing it, breathing exercise or concentration, expansion meditation. There are different kinds that I've spoken about, all three kinds in there, I believe, at least. And then it's your training, and you will become good at it. And Edward says 23 male, Australia. Do you think SSRIs and antidepressants will help to recover from OCD, HOCD, and other OCD themes? What is your take on it from your experience, etc.? I am not a doctor. I cannot make any comment on this because I don't have that experience. I don't have any medical credentials. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or psychotherapist. Therefore, I suggest you talk to your psychologist or psychotherapist and see what they think. Otherwise, I know what you're talking about, but I'm in no position to offer any advice on that. Chester says, Mahalo, Mehran. Mahalo, Chester. Mona says, hi, Mehran June. Hello, Mona June. How are you, dear? Where are you? You're in UK, aren't you? Good of you to join us. Ash says, Mehran is right. I once trained a horse to go around the shop for me and buy biscotti. No, when you're riding on it. Idiot! While you're on it, if you don't know how to train it and haven't trained it, it'll take you around places you didn't want to go. Maisha says, thank you so much, sir. You're quite welcome, dear. Okay, guys, it looks like, 2 hours. Looks like we answered all the questions, and I'm delighted that you guys had the chance to join me. I once in a while will have some surprise live streams at nights, maybe Wednesday nights, who knows. And then we'll still have our Saturday 1 p.m. Vancouver time and our Saturday 9 p.m. Vancouver time for different time zones. So 2 times on that day, once a week, but provided that we would, plus that we'll have some surprise live streams as well. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Delighted for the ones who had not had the chance to join us, but tonight they found us and they're back. And I look forward to talk to you again, hopefully this Saturday. In the meantime, be good to yourself, to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Okay, here's for you guys. Promote the live stream on your social media. It's 1 minute and 47 seconds. Please share this on your social media. Let people know we have a live stream, and so they can join us, and we will be able to reach more people and help more people. Okay, now I'm signing off.